Okay, we're going to take a look at the Native Americans of the North. The Northwest Coast and the Great Plains. Okay, people of the far north. Here we are in the Arctic regions, like in Alaska and northern Canada. You have what are called the Inuit people, who live in the Arctic, which is the land of frozen icy seas and treeless plains. Sometimes temperatures reaching 40 below, 50 below zero temperatures, very cold. So how do people live in regions so cold and so not hospitable to human life? Okay, traditionally the Inuit people made homes out of driftwood. Of course, not a lot of trees and lumber or resources to use for housing, so they could get whatever they could manage to scrape up from off the sea or anything that would come up used as supplies. And here we are, making huts out of animal skin. Okay, so in the winter, many lived in igloos, which are houses of snow and ice, and it would be very insulated, and you could stay warm in a house of snow and ice called an igloo. So this would be the interior of an igloo in modern-day Alaska, or in Alaska. Okay, here is some villages, northern Quebec in Canada. Very, very cold. If you ever see a show, Ice Road Truckers, we're talking about this area of the world, the deadliest catch in northern Alaska, in the Bering Strait. People do survive and live there. Okay, the Inuit traveled each season to new locations in order to find food. So in the winter they hunted seal and fish near the sea. We are ice fishing for seal and for fish. In the spring, they use kayaks or small skin boats to hunt seals and even whales. Hunting a whale by kayak, very dangerous and very skillful. And they still do this today. The Inuit people who still live there today still live the way their ancestors taught them how. Okay, in the summer, they would move inland and hunt other animals like caribou and deer along inland lakes and rivers. There's an Alaskan caribou. Here's an Inuit woman carrying her baby on her back. In a traditional Inuit way, carrying her baby, keeping her infant warm in the very cold temperatures. And so here you have horses would not be able to survive in these conditions. So the Inuit people are very reliant on dogs, and they have dog sleds that are able to. They train these dogs to take them very far distances, and they have a great relationship with their dog sled teams. Okay, moving over to the Northwest. So these are states, modern-day Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia, Canada. So the peoples of Northwest Coast lived in an area filled with resources. Lots of trees and lumber to make houses. Inner bark would make baskets, rope, and other clothes. All right, fish in the area. There is abundance of salmon and fish. Okay, animals, deer, moose, and bear were hunted for their meat and hides. Okay, because of the food, it was plentiful. The people of the Northwest Coast built permanent villages. Okay, within each village, the more families owned, the more they were respected. And here are some totem poles that are adopted by Native Americans of British Columbia, Canada. Okay, families held potluck dinners or ceremonial dinners where they showed off their wealth by giving gifts to guests, such as canoes, animal skins, and jewelry. All right, so that was here in this area of the country. Now we're moving over to the Great Plains, a lot different region of the nation. So states for the Dakotas, Montana, down to Texas, Nebraska, modern-day Nebraska, Kansas. Because there were a few trees, the people of the Great Plains made homes out of buffalo hide called tepees. And here are some pictures of tepees. And they're very easily used because they can, if they're nomadic, they're able to pack these up very quickly and set them up very quickly. Okay, plains women planted crops such as corn, beans, and squash. Men hunted animals such as the buffalo, antelope, elk, deer, and bighorn sheep. Here we are on the buffalo hunt. And the Native Americans of the plains relied on the buffalo for survival. The people of the Great Plains used dogs and then later horses to haul supplies on a sled known as the travois. Horses introduced to the people of the Great Plains in the 1700s when the Spanish bring the horse over, and this made hunting easier for the Native Americans, and they didn't decrease their reliance on agriculture. The Native Americans became very good horsemen.